I think we're live.
Are we live?
I
Hello.
think we're live.
Welcome to everyone in cyberspace, and hello to everyone who's watching this in the future on the playback. In case you're at work, I'm a teacher on summer break, so I feel bad for people who have like real jobs that have to like go to work on a playback Tuesday afternoon. It's not fair. Can you hear us? I'm here talking with Scott from Scorpio Moon Tarot. I've been seeing him around TarotTube on mutual tarot friends channels, and somehow we got connected, and I'm really excited to talk to you, Scott. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so if somebody can tell me in the comments if I'm too loud or too low, if you can hear me okay.
Sound good on my end.
Okay, Renee said she can hear just fine. Okay, perfect. All right.
How is everyone out there? I'm excited to talk to you, Scott, because we just, exchanged life stories before the broadcast. So
yeah, we did.
We'll redo the conversation.
True Scorpio fashion.
Yeah. We're both here on the East Coast, so it's Eastern time. Now, are you guys going to get this tropical storm up near you or no?
I have no idea. I do not watch the news that often, so
her name is?
I have no idea.
Tomorrow it's supposed to come right over us, so it's been raining for 3 weeks straight here, and I'm over it. Hopefully
I understand.
Float away. I should ask the cards about it. So, Scott, you have a brand new YouTube channel, Scorpio Moon Tarot, and I think I linked it in the description, but I will go back and double check so people can click on it when they get a chance. What made you? I like to ask people this because my relationship with YouTube is love-hate. What made you want to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, great question. So I actually was kind of in the closet with tarot when I started, which was only December of this last year. I think I got my first deck on the day after Christmas or day before. I can't remember. It was either or. And then I was on my own pretty much learning everything. And then I got into YouTube, looking up different people who, read, and, found a couple people that, kind of identified with that kind of was still lurking in the background. And then I heard somebody say something about Tarot-thon, and I watched that, and it pretty much changed everything for me because I met this whole group of wonderful people, and most of them had channels, and just like after only a week, I'm like, I need to be doing this too. It was something I felt and I knew that I needed to do. If not for me, then for other people that, have been like me and have no idea where to go when they're first getting into tarot or whatever it is,
Well, I admire you that it only took a week because I kicked it around for like 2 years before you finally made a video. And when I would watch video, I never really considered YouTube very social. I wasn't someone commenting, and I would look up videos on topics. And so, of course, what would come up were always the bigger channels because those get ranked first. And so I didn't know that there were all these tarot channels out there. I thought there were like 3 or 4 people talking about tarot on YouTube. I had no idea that there was like this whole TarotTube community. So I kind of fell into the community part by accident, and I'm glad I did. There's just so many different viewpoints to be had on tarot, and any question you ask, someone has tried something, knows something, can refer you to someone. And, I had no idea that tarot was a thing. But we have our own section at the bookstore now. That's exciting.
I know, right? Yeah. My story is very similar to yours about not knowing about the community. And I was in the Hermit Mage, you know, and I loved going in there watching Simon's videos. And one time it's live, and I was like, "Oh, there's a bunch of just random people in here that he's talking to. Like, that's pretty cool. He's just able to talk to random people." Had
How do you
no
know all
idea
these people?
that they knew each other, and it's a whole community of people that support and love each other. And what, you know, I had no idea.
So Ange says, "Oh yes, I hesitated making my channel for many years. She waited until she was going to practically med school."
And Ange does so much. I don't know how she fits it all in, but she's amazing. Yeah.
Ange, you were on my Facebook recently, and you had made a comment on something, and I was like, "Oh, who's this Ang person?" It was like Ang Marie. And I thought, they're pretty friendly for someone I don't know, but okay, whatever. And I realized, oh my God, it's Ange, not Ang.
Right. Not Ang. Yeah.
So you started your YouTube channel. Do you have visions for where your channel's going to go in the future? Do you want to be a big channel? Do you want to stay small?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of going with the flow, I think. You know, I just going to put out what, you know, I think that needs to be put out. But what's awesome is I was so scared to, you know, first do it. And then all of a sudden it was like all these topics just come flying in from different places of things that I could do. And I have this long list now, and I'm like, how did I ever come up with this stuff? And, you know, and a lot of it is watching other people's videos that inspired me. I want to do some VRs, you know, stuff like that. I've been watching your videos because I didn't know about you until last week. And so, you know, just you're inspiring, and the people, I see them right there in the chat. They've inspired me so much. And that is, yeah.
I've been inspired by pretty much everyone I've watched on YouTube in one way or another. Like, everyone has their own approach and their own style, and, you know, everyone has their own favorite deck and how they view the tarot and the things that they're interested in. And yeah, so that's what I appreciate about this little community here. So speaking of favorite decks, what's your first deck, and then what's your favorite so far? Because I know on Gerald's live you were talking about you've acquired a bunch of decks. Yes.
Yes. A bunch is a good word for that. 2 words. Yeah. So the first one I got, I just reached out to a friend of mine, you know, in the middle of nowhere, pretty much in Virginia, in the mountains, and there's not many people who you would think of that would be into tarot. But I know one girl that I worked with, and I'm like, maybe I should, because she talked about being a witch, and everybody looked at her funny except for me, and I was like, I love you. And you know, I was like, I'm going to reach out to her. And she said, well, I've got one, but it's really sassy and I don't read it very well. I'm like, well, tell me what it is, because I have no idea what to find it or where to find it, or, you know, I didn't even know there was on Amazon. I had no clue. So she's like, go on Amazon. It's called The Wild Unknown. So that was my first deck. And I totally did not identify with it or resonate with it whatsoever. I was just like,
it's a difficult.
Can I curse on your channel? I'll just say WTF. I was like, WTF, WTF, WTF. I don't know. But it got me to that place where I was like, I want to see what other decks are out there. Yeah, I saw there's more than one now. So went onto Amazon. I found, I hope I say his name right. I believe it's Ciro Marchetti. I might have said it wrong.
Yep.
Marchetti, thank you. And I found the Gilded Royale, and that's my first like study deck. And but right now my favorite deck is the Black Light Tarot. I'm all about color. I love flashy color, stuff like that. So yeah.
I do too. I love bright, bold colors. I like decks that are a little dramatic.
Right.
So I think I've seen the Black Light Tarot somewhere before, or some other tarot that had, you know, glowing colors like that, and I thought that was so cool. And I just picked up the holographic tarot, so that's nice and shiny. I like shiny things and stuff.
I do too. I'll have to write that down because I'll forget. I'm going to write that down right now.
Yes.
Because I've never heard of that.
The AE Waite holographic tarot, and it's just the generic Rider-Waite, but shiny.
Now that you said Rider-Waite, is it this one?
It is not, but it's similar. It doesn't have a black border.
Okay. Because when you said Rider-Waite, I was like, that might be the one I used for my tarot book. But yeah.
Are those cards you glued in, or are those stickers?
No, they're actual cards.
Oh, okay.
I got this deck just for my book, and then I would make definitions. These are, my definitions of the upright and then the reversals. And so, yeah, I've been cool, just writing random stuff. You can see the different, pen ink because they're from different times. And when I get something that would click, a hit, I would write it down. All that makes sense to me. And so if I got stuck later on, I could just go.
That's a really great, and the sky just turned very dark and it's windy. So I might have an Oz moment. I just heard a thing on the roof. Yeah.
Oh,
no. No, that's a really great use for a deck that you don't use anymore. Right. I think to, put a picture in your tarot journal. I think that zhuzhes up the page a little bit. I love that.
Yeah, and I do have the standard Rider-Waite as well that I use, but honestly, I didn't learn by the Rider-Waite. I learned by a Rider-Waite clone, but, I didn't learn by the Rider-Waite, so I don't resonate with that as much as a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, that needs to be your first deck, and I'm like, well...
Oh, I hated the Rider-Waite. I thought it was so ugly. Oh, God, it was so ugly. I couldn't stand the color scheme, and so...
A little dated.
It was not talking to me for many years. And so I learned with the Robinwood, because that's the only one at the time that I could find that was really close to the Rider-Waite, but it was just prettier. And I just liked the colors better.
Right.
And it just spoke to me. And after a while, the Rider-Waite kind of clicked a little bit for me, but... for many years, the Robinwood was pretty much the only deck I got that click from. But now I just, any deck that I like and that I work with long enough, I can read with. But some decks they're just not talking. Like Thoth Tarot, it doesn't like me and I don't like it. And so I have a deck, but we respectfully disagree.
Oh, I totally get that. And a funny little story, if you don't mind me sharing, is actually, I think you just put her, that's who I was going to talk about right there. What a synchronicity. So Renee was actually part of a really funny thing that happened. I received my first deck as a gift, not my first that I had, but my first gifted deck came to me. Mm-hmm. And then the next day I was watching a live with Renee at the Tarot Magician. And she was saying how she, they were talking about decks that they kind of wanted to buy, but they haven't pushed the button yet. And she's like, well, mine is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. And I'm like, Heaven and Earth Tarot? Wait a minute. I'm like, that's that one in the very, very back of my shelf that never talks or says anything except for I'm not supposed to be here. And I'm like, that's where it's supposed to be. That's Renee's deck. So I sent it to her.
Oh, nice.
I was able to return, give and receive.
I think that's why it's hard for so many of us to part with decks, even when we don't use them or they don't speak to us, because, eventually for sure you're going to run into someone who loves that deck.
Yes, and we're all different and have different tastes, right? So,
yeah, I've had decks. So, are you an impulse purchaser at this point?
Not anymore. I'm an impulse wish lister at this point because my bank account has said stop. So I have stopped for a while.
Very Capricorn.
Is that the Capricorn coming in? Oh man, like I said, I have no idea where that's coming in. But
Scott is not a Capricorn. He's a Scorpio. He's a fellow Scorpio, but
yes.
Capricorn Moon, right?
Capricorn Moon.
Okay.
Right. Just explaining, how I'm all parts of Scorpio, good and bad. You know, hopefully more of the good now that I'm a little bit older. But but my moon and my rising are both in Capricorn, but I don't see a lot of that. But my moon is, I put the moon in there because it makes me think of feelings, right? And I'm very emotional, like empathic person. So I was like, I'm just going to put that in there with, it's going to be Scorpio moon. So there we go.
Scorpios are very deep, you know, they're the deepest water. You know, we're like a...
Oh, I like that. I've never heard that before.
Yes, we're the deepest of all the water signs. It's like one. I think it's like Pisces is a puddle and Cancer is a lake, and we're like an ocean.
Wow, that makes sense.
My Aries rising, I think, augments the naughty parts of the Scorpio. I'm like on the bitchier end of Scorpio.
You're at what now?
I'm on the bitchier end of Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think all sides of the Scorpio might be a little bit bitchy. So
yeah. I have like nice bitchy days and then like bitchy days.
That's one thing I've had to tone down, definitely. But yeah.
I don't tone it down. Okay, I think we all go through the phase of the mad impulsive deck buying binge. Yes, we lose our minds and our wallets, and then we become more mindful. Yeah, I think we all kind of learn that lesson. And sometimes now things will sit on my wish list even for years. I'll just kind of mull it over. And sometimes I look at my wish list and go, what's that? And then I'll look at that deck and go, really? What was I thinking? That's no.
Same. Yeah, so same.
They need to I need to sit with it. It is pouring rain now.
Oh, wow.
And windy. I always get nervous around tropical storms. This wasn't supposed to happen till tomorrow.
You have a lot of those.
Yes. Yeah, I do. So you have started a series, which I'm watching, on reversals. Everyone's favorite. How many of you in the chat read reversals? I do. When I want to. I do when I want to. That's all part of my master plan, Ange. That I don't come across bitchy.
And Renee just said she's an Aries sun. So, and I think she told me that before. And I'm like, I don't see that. Because I think of, Aries being first and, saying I'm number one for a reason. That kind of attitude. But they're also great leaders, right? So I see that. But yeah.
Yeah, I do see my Aries pop out. Like, I really resent not being the center of attention, but then when I am the center of attention, I'm horrified. I have this kind of like push-pull behind the scenes, secretive Scorpio or me, Aries. It's
right.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I think Ange said that she does not read with reversals, and Sweet Nancy says, I do since I watched Scott's video on reversals. Aww. I'm not even done, and she's already done started a whole notebook. So,
I have a page in my notebook. I have like 2 tarot notebooks. One is for taking notes, like a study notebook. And then I have one where I have the page for each card where I write down insights as I come by them. So it's just kind of a work in progress that I've had for many, many years. But I do have a page of everything that reversals can be. And we were talking about how when a reversal comes up, it's that oh shit moment, like, why are you here? Kind of like court cards.
Can I turn it around, please? Yeah.
Yeah, I started I would spin when a card was reversed because my intellect would frantically be searching for what does this mean? And I learned to just kind of stop and instead of finding a meaning for the reversal, I have to sit with just the feeling that I'm getting that's coming up. Because I think people are really afraid to be quiet in a tarot reading. They feel like they need to keep it moving, keep talking, or the person's going to think they don't know what they're talking about.
What they're talking about, right?
But sometimes you just have to shut up and go inside And yes, Renee says that's where my empathic nature kicks in.
Right, like your intuitive messages start coming in when you're in that
like,
quiet
what
place.
Flavor of reversal is this? And so I let myself off the hook for reversals because I read somewhere, if you believe that a card has 360 degrees of meaning, you don't really need reversals. So if you flip it over, worst case scenario, flip it right side up and get on with your life, right? You're probably going to get the feeling from the card. But I kind of embrace reversals now because it's like free. It's like free message from your guides. Like, pay attention to me.
Right.
And that doesn't really come along with a lot of other tarot cards. You know, you're kind of out there on your own, but it's when it's reversed, I know that there's some shift in meaning, even if it's very subtle.
Right. And I agree. It's almost like it's kind of a block. And then, like in my book, it's just I found all these negative meanings. I'm like, how can I turn this negative into a positive and put it out there, like for me myself, so that I'm not freaking out every time I get a reversal. So, you know, and like I said in my introduction, a lot of people, you know, have their own ways, like you do, and that's awesome. I love that, you know, everybody has their own way. So, but for me, it's an issue because I'm like, it's the fuck card again. Excuse me if I'm not supposed to say that. But
that's
there it is again.
Being an empowering reader is. Instead of, you just don't say, oh shit, you say, okay, well, how can you make the most of this? Or how can you get this turned right side up? That's the whole point of getting a tarot reading, I think, is if all things, you know, continuing as they are, this is the probable outcome. If I don't like that, you know, what can I do about it? And what control do I have? And that's what I like about reversals, is because they are a call to find where you can take control a little bit instead of, I don't know, looking through the cards to tell you the answer to something.
Right.
But if there are lots of reversals in the spread, then to me it just feels kind of stuck, and I don't really read them individually.
Right.
You know. Hi, Dee.
Hi, Dee. Yeah, so what I tried to do, and I'm glad you said that, is about the reversals, you know, how to make them into the positive, or how to make them upright. And instead of doing the series on, you know, here's the opposite, here's the good part of the, you know, the upright meaning, here's the other meaning, it's how to get from one point to the other, right?
Yeah.
And like you were saying, if you're headed down this path and you keep going down this path, this is probably what's going to happen. So what I did that video on was, how can I make that not happen and go into the way that would benefit me and my soul, my spirit the most. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it, Scott. Ooh, the lights blinked.
Oh, goodness. Don't leave me alone. I've never done a
Well, I have a little bit of battery, but probably not that much. It is absolutely pouring, and I'm hoping this doesn't last for 24 hours because I'll be, you know, canoeing to the grocery store.
I hope not, Amy.
I think reversals, I'm just looking at my list of possible flavors of reversal. And it's not always the shadow side, but it can be. But sometimes a reversal is kind of like a not yet. Like it's just gathering. And it's like there's not even anything really to do, but wait for that energy to gather.
Right. And I did find, you know, when I was doing my research and everything and just collecting, that there are a few cards, like the Devil card, for instance. When you turn that upside down, a lot of people see that as the shackles are coming off more freely. So it's even better than the upright position. And I just, I haven't done my video yet, but I just finished my study on the first suit that I'm going to do, which is Pentacles, and I can't remember which one, but the opposite or the reverse is actually better than the than the upright meaning. So there are a few that, and again, it's all your intuition, right? And I'm just making these notes and doing this just to try to lead me and others in the right direction, if that's what they want to do. So
yes,
they have that block like I do.
I find that I keep coming around to every card in a new way. Every so often, it's like a deeper layer of meaning I uncover. After working
definitely.
The card. So, what I saw in this card 5 years ago might not be anywhere close to kind of what comes up for me now. Because I do think that whenever we read for others, there's like this gold nugget of information for ourselves.
Yep.
You notice that? Because you are reading for other people, aren't you, Scott?
I started doing a little bit. I think I've read for 2 people, and one was the girl who helped me with purchasing the first deck, Where to Go with Elise Hope, and the second one is Nancy. And we've been doing readings for each other, and she's a gifted reader and healer. Is just insane. But what she did for me last night to calm me down, and it's so funny because I was going through some things yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know how you just get in your head and your wheels are turning. And Ange actually came on, and because I was talking to her a little bit about it, and she was on Instagram. She's like, have you looked what's behind Amy's screen? It says, let that shit go. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
My mom sent me that, actually.
Did she? Your mom? Wow. Yeah, well, it's great. So, yeah.
I'm hearing weird noises, and
I just don't want your roof to start flying off or anything.
No,
that's not good.
I don't think it's that point now. It's just raining. But, God, don't get me started. Florida's always an adventure.
Yes, it is. And
people think it's sun and fun in the beach, but really it's like mosquitoes and jungle and rain.
And heat, humidity.
Humidity, yes.
And I don't know if you got as much. I've heard some people say that like Central Florida gets more humidity, but I was on the coast. I was on the Tampa Bay area, and oh my God, it was just, you go to the mailbox and come back, it looked like you took a shower in your clothes.
Yep.
Like seriously, it was just like, drained all my energy, and I became fat, and so I didn't belong in Florida in that heat anymore, because the heat and being a little chubby doesn't go well together.
Well, I'm from Minneapolis, so I grew up there. I think we moved there in 5th grade, and I went to college and left after college because I'm not a snow and a cold person. Like, I'm not a go outside and go skiing. I'm like sit inside and drink hot chocolate kind of person. I don't even know, now I walk outside and it's 60 degrees and I'm like, ooh, it's cold.
Yeah.
And
I remember doing that down there
how
too.
Did you make it through Minnesota? And I'm like, I have no idea. It was not pleasant. It was not for me.
I think our bodies just adjust, after time. Yeah.
I feel context plays a big role in reading, despite it. Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And I do my readings with Oracle Tarot trinkets too, because sometimes the meanings change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I put like the Oracle cards on top of them, sometimes I'll be, oh, that's what it means. Like that's what the clarifier is a lot of times. And Angela actually, like I saw somebody else do a reading with these charms. I'm like, I need to get some. Then I saw Ange do, hers on her channel, and I'm like, I gotta pick her brain because I love that idea of putting that extra element into the reading.
This is what we started.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so do you want to pick a charm, Scott?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're going to pick one. So just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, well, 2 came out.
Okay.
So we have a cute flower with a ladybug.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we have a pin
I am loved.
That says,
Yes.
I am loved.
Yes.
And my son and I when we go to the mall, Hellsberg Diamonds has this big jar full of these in every language. And so we get a different language every time.
Oh, that's cool.
You got English. So
does
Ladybug say anything to you?
No, but I have this terrific little spirit animal book.
Oh, yeah.
We could look it up real quick.
I think ladybugs are good luck.
I can find it. Here we go. Up. My goodness. The first freaking sentence. Ladybug symbolizes luck, fortune, happiness, and protection.
Nice.
There you go.
Perfect.
You just nailed it without me even reading it.
Yeah, so Angela has inspired many people to start a little trinket collection. And I saw her video. And you know what? There's a whole YouTube universe of trinket people. Did you know that? There's a whole...
No.
There's a
I just know
whole
bands.
subsection of tarot tube that are like trinket and charm people. I didn't know that either.
Right,
So,
I didn't either. Like I said, I saw the one reading, which was from someone different who used it. I thought, what an amazing, that's amazing. Yeah. Like, I want to find trinkets, and I looked on Amazon, couldn't find anything, and I was like, and then Anne shows up.
Through the junk drawer. Yeah.
Yeah, I have bigger trinkets, that kind of sit around, but I mean, nothing like little that you can, just use with your cards.
So what has been your biggest YouTube question as far as having a YouTube channel? I had loads of questions, and I thought there should be a place where tarot tubers could just go and be like, how do you work this feature or something like that? What's your biggest YouTube?
Well, mine was how to download or upload, I should say, from my iPhone. It was taking up so much room, and I'm like, what in the world? And I pretty much had to learn by myself, which is great because now I know how to do it. But I had no idea that your videos, even after you deleted them, will go to your photos, and you have to delete them out of there too. I didn't know that.
Oh, you know what? I don't even think about that.
And I actually found this. So I found a video on YouTube that told me about a app that's called Compressor, and it's free. And I put Compressor on there, and it just makes your videos fly by to go into the upload. Fly by. Like I was doing, one of the ones I did was like 45 minutes, and it took like, Nancy was with me through the process, and we both went to bed and we woke up and it was still uploading. It was like 14 to 16 hours. And then I did one similar after that. And with the compressor, it was like 30 minutes. It was done.
Wow. See, I didn't know there were things like that.
So you just download this thing called Compressor, and it just hit a couple of buttons, and it's easy. I'm
an Android person, so I can send it directly to YouTube through my phone, but it does take a while. So if it's like a shorter, 15 minutes or under, it's not that long. But I haven't tried an extended, like, if this weren't live, I mean, I probably wouldn't even try it. But I do have everything saving to a drive.
Right.
A Google Drive, and so I need to make sure I go and delete it from that. Okay. It's like a whole thing. There's a whole other level of technology learning curve that you have to, oh my God. Yes, Bits and Bobs. Bits and Bobs Divination is another channel.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out.
Which is a cute name, I think.
It is. Bits and Bobs.
There's a couple that do Lenormand charms and also tea readings and charms. Oh, really? Tea readings and charms?
Tea readings and charms.
Dee was with me when Jason and I went live and tried our hand at tea leaf reading.
I don't know the first thing about that.
That worked out, Dee. I still feel bad about that reading that I gave you.
I don't know anything about the breeding tea leaves, so nothing.
Well, you just you have to use leaves loose, and then you sip your tea, and at the bottom you swish it around and see if the leaves make a shape. Like, oh, this looks like an owl, or this looks like a blob of tea. Is
like kind of looking at the clouds or your third eye kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, this looks like this. Yeah.
Tabitha Dial is a fabulous tea leaf reader. She's on Instagram, and she does have a YouTube channel, but she writes poetry, and she does a lot of divination through poetry. So she's pretty cool. I really like her.
Right.
Yeah, Ange, it was fun. It was fun, and it is harder than it looks. Hi, Jason. Tarot by the Pines is here.
Oh, hey, Jason.
It was harder than it looked. It was, but it was fun, and we got a nice caffeine buzz happening after all those cups of tea. So are there any other systems that you are interested in learning? Like, are you a Lenormand person? You said you read with oracle cards too.
Yeah, I have probably as many oracles as I do tarot. I'm looking down because they're actually in my desk. Underneath is a huge shelving area. That's what I'm looking down. But I only have 2 Lenormands, and it was like I got the first one was just a standard one, and then I had to get Marquetti's. Mm-hmm. And after that, it was just like, well, they're all kind of the same, aren't they? And I was like, well, that aside. But there's a group, that is in the community right now that loves Lenormand and, doing classes on it. So I think eventually down the road, I'll start learning that. But I never really connected with the, is it Thoth or Thoth? I always get it wrong.
Depends on whichever one you say is what it is.
Okay, so the Thoth, I have that deck, and I've communicated with it a little bit better recently. But the Marseille, we have no connection. It just sits in the back and is like, it's like I'm back in the 16th century. When I look at a Marseille deck, I get tired, and I just kind of go, it makes me go, bleh. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I understand. It's like 5 swords, and 6 swords, 7 swords. Okay, here's 8 swords. But Jason did send me the Antique Anatomy, and I'm going to be reviewing that soon, Jason. Nice, Jason. And this one is more Pippi like that. Mm-hmm. But it's not Marseille-y Pippi. Gotcha. So it's a little more like medicine bottles. It's got more stuff in it than just the Pip. Yeah. And some, Yeah, I have one really too. Weird. Are you familiar with Patrick Valenza? He did the Deviant Moon. I know I'm familiar with his name. Tell me what he did. He did the Deviant Moon. Oh, yes. Yes. Deviant Moon. And that one is not Pippish, but this one here is. And it's the Triomphe de la Luna, but I absolutely love it anyway because it does have these Pip cards in here, that are just kind of the suits, like the Marseille, but he added like a whole expansion pack in there, and they are actually a whole like different system going on. Like you got this dude and those are pretty. These, and they have their own meanings, and you can look them up and all that. So really I love the Deviant Moon. I know some people think it's dark, but I don't think it is. I think it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of a little bit, humorous. Yes, I laugh so hard. That's how I see it, but I know some people don't like it. I'm horrible with names, seriously. I am too. Don't worry. And I'm a teacher, but yeah. I do have this book, which everyone recommended, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. Okay. And it has some great information that I think is good for any tarot reader. Right. Just really interesting information about symbolism and things like that. But it didn't make me love the Thoth tarot. Yeah, sometimes that happens, right? It's just, yeah.
Now, I know people were way into Lenormand a few years ago, like it was everywhere. And then I learned about Kipper cards, and I went back and forth. Should I do Lenormand or Kipper, Lenormand or Kipper? And so I just didn't do anything.
I had to ask somebody the other day what a Kipper deck was. I had no idea. So, but
I think it's just like a German Lenormand deck.
Okay.
I think they're pretty similar because they use directionality and, yeah. Yes, I have heard, Nancy, that, and I've seen pictures of that Deviant Moon big book.
I have that. It's
yeah, you do?
Incredible. Yeah, I have it. Hold on one second. I have it right here. And it is a mammoth. I mean, it's like a yearbook, right? Like your high school yearbook. And then some. Like, it's huge. Hello.
Like a coffee table book, right?
Yes. And I mean, the pictures just look. It's just absolutely wonderful. And he goes by, like, how he came up, you know, with, like, I think that's the High Priestess. I just love these cards. They're so weird and funny. But he'll show you what he originally, like, painted or came up with and how it formed into the Magician or whichever one. You know, so it's really neat. It's really neat.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that book.
Oops. Right.
Jason
I'm knocking things around here.
Jason says it's too creepy.
Oh, really?
And
yeah.
He's a horror movie fan.
Oh, I can see where people would think that. Definitely. Yeah.
But Jason just did a review of what is it called, Jason? It's a skeleton tarot, but it's like cute, super cute skeletons. Yeah, Dee, I don't. It's one of those decks that I feel like I should own. The Thoth Tarot, I feel like I should own it, but it just sits in a box in the closet and does not get used.
Doesn't talk to you at all.
Doesn't talk to me. It's like a cat. It's like, don't touch me, don't look at me.
Right.
Angela says, I like big books and I cannot lie.
Excuse me if I looked over here for a minute. I actually, when I was going for that book, I actually tripped the incense holder here, and my incense decided to fall into a bunch of books. So that was interesting.
Oh. Well, they'll smell good.
We are safe now. It was still lit.
So I have
what's happening?
Weather, and you might burn the place down.
And I might burn it all down. Yeah, who knows?
He says, I love when creators make those types of books because it gives you the knowledge on their insights and the why they chose what they did for the deck. I like a good guidebook.
Me too.
I mean, I just don't like it when there's like, if you know, come on, why did you choose this picture? You have to explain it. You have to tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, and some decks are better at that than others, you know, with their guidebooks. You never know what you're going to get sometimes with those.
Am I on, you guys? Is it just Scott that left? Or are we no longer? Oh, here you are. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I was like, he's not going to shut up. He's going to just hang up on me.
I don't know what happened. So all of a sudden, everything was just gone. I'm like, I'm not there anymore. Okay.
I thought it was me at first. Like, did the storm do something? Is Scott ablaze now? Who knows? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott
I thought you finally burned the place down. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Aliens, definitely. Jason was talking about how guidebooks have to smell good.
I'm not a book or deck sniffer, but I know a lot of people who are, but I'm not really. Oh, really?
Antique Anatomy.
I don't know, but I do other weird things.
It is nice and inky. I love that.
Yeah, I don't sniff, but I do have some other weird stuff.
Oh, tell us.
So I guess the strangest is, and Renee knows this very well because her cards came with it, and I had no idea I had done it as soon as I opened it up. But when I see, and it's not that I have a problem with the naked body, not at all, but I don't walk around naked. People around me don't walk around naked. So for me, it's a little distracting when I see it in the cards. And so I decided, well, what if I put a dress on her? I'm going to put a dress on her. And I started buying all these pins, and I have all this art stuff that like draws, and you can just make magical colors on them. And I'm like, I'm just going to, wow, I'm becoming an artist. And it brought out an artist in me, which I never thought I had that gene. But apparently, yeah, and so I do put, like that baby on the sun. That baby needed a diaper, a dress, something.
Really?
Oh yes, girl. Something needed to happen because that was not good. And I was like, I'm gonna put a little swimsuit on him, and that's perfect.
See, we've had this whole discussion about nudity in the Robinwood. My friend Maria, Lady Knight of Avalon, actually put like fig leaves or something on the lovers cards, and Julie from Peekaboo Rose was like, I can't look at this because the carpet doesn't match the drapes. So she was like,
oh my gosh,
I can't deal with this. And I've had that deck for so long, I don't even notice. Like, you look at the lover's card, and the guy's thing is like right out there, and by this point, I don't even notice. Don't even notice.
Well, I'm sure that'll happen. After a couple of years I've been into it, I won't be doing that. It won't bother me at all. But it's so funny because I didn't even realize that I had done that to that Heaven and Earth deck, because I only looked at it once. But apparently I looked at it once and said, no ma'am, and I started doing this because Renee does an unboxing on her channel, and she's like, oh, I know what this is because I saw Scott's video on it, and he puts dresses and stuff, and I'm like mortified. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad she watched that at least, instead of going, what the hell is this?
And he makes them look like they belong there. So you would never know.
Yeah, I think she needs to get her eyes checked, but that's okay. Yeah.
Now, that's
a hey, Shauna.
Hey, Shauna, there's like a whole, you could edge your deck, or you can add, you should do some videos of you adding clothes to cards, because I think that's an untapped deck mod market.
I do edge my decks. I have this little guillotine I learned from Simon at the Hermit's Cave. I do this, and so I do trim, I do edge them. I have the special markers and everything, and that's where a lot of my money's gone too, not just for the cards, but
what markers do you use?
So for edging, I do the chisel tip, and Simon recommended that we do the chisel tip. Oh, I can't even talk. Chisel tip for the Sharpies, but I found that those, for me, it is probably just my hands and not being coordinated, but they bled over a little bit. Then it's like, I wonder if they have Sharpie highlighters that are permanent, and I found some, and they work great. They're awesome. So Sharpie highlighter permanents. So, permanent markers.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I've only edged one deck, and that's my Light Seers. I did a
Oh, wow.
blue. And I'm really glad that I did it, but I probably need to go over it again. And
I'm gonna find mine.
it was my first time edging, and I think I used a Crayola marker because it's water-based. And
Oh,
so
my gosh.
I was able to just kind of wipe off anything that smudged anywhere.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Because
I think
I'm too
we did
scared to
this.
mess too much with my decks. I can't imagine ever cutting a deck. Is that yours?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
I
similar.
don't think this deck looks so edged.
I think Nancy did hers almost the same too. So, if I'm not wrong, could be wrong. But yeah, when I first, heard about like trimming and all that, I was like, oh, that would be neat. And you just use scissors, and that's not a good idea. Not for me. It was not. And I can't remember the name of it. It was Colette Baron Reed. I still have it. Bless its heart. And I butchered that thing to death. And then I tried to, to save it, and you got these size cards and these size cards, and it's just a mess. So
yeah. Now Shauna uses Crayola too. Yeah, I know. I don't trust
Crayola. Okay.
permanent ink because
I would not trust myself with Crayola. I don't know.
Well, I just liked that I could wipe it off because it's water based. So
right.
When it got on the front, or I had too much wine because I was, on card 50 and my third glass of wine or something, it just wiped right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid. Like my Robin Wood really probably needs to be edged because I've had it for so long. It's sort of like discolored on the edges.
Right.
But I just want to leave well enough alone. I'm afraid I just can't. I can't do it. Can't do it.
No,
and I can't cut a deck. I cannot cut the card. I can't. No can do.
No. Yeah.
Plus, I don't like small cards. I'm not a mini deck person.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't like them if they're too small. This is about as small as I'll go. This is by the same creators of the Blacklight Tarot.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I believe, is the Trip and Wait Tarot. So this is about as small as I go. But these had borders. So I'm learning how to do them. Yeah. And, of course, I got the Tower for my whole month. Yay. But
oh, really?
Yes, I did.
Well, that's not necessarily bad.
It's not. And that's what is great about tarot is you can bring out the positives in the upright and in the others too. So just by avoiding reversals doesn't mean you're going to get a positive card. What if Mr. Tower shows up? Well, gotta find how can I interpret this to inspire me through my day? So
well, it's just Tower can be just change that's unexpected. It doesn't have to be something that's difficult or bad.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. D is Ticonderoga. Now I know they make the world's best pencil, but
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
They cover better and don't bleed, and they have a thicker chisel tip.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good to know.
Thanks. Awesome.
I didn't know Ticonderoga had anything but pencils.
Shauna, you said you don't like Colette Baron Reed decks? Or did I read that wrong? I'm not sure.
I'm trying to go back and...
They are kind of all alike. I don't know if you have any. Do you have any Colette Baron Reed?
I do, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Right.
Does she make she kind of, to me, is Doreen Virtue-esque.
Yeah, a little bit she is. I'm trying to find if I have one here.
I know I have one deck that, who made the archetype cards?
The archetype cards?
Yeah.
I have those, but I can't think who made them.
Those aren't Colette Baron Reed.
No, they're not. They're not, but I cannot think of who it is. And it's buried. So I'm not sure. But this is the Good Tarot by, go the right way, by Colette Baron Reed. And I didn't know she even did tarot decks, but it's very, whoops.
Yeah,
just a
it's
little
pretty.
nervous there. Yeah, so just kind of the same as her Oracle decks, the standard size, and yeah. So yeah.
Carolyn Meese. I always forget how to say her name. Did the
Yes, that's
cards.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't gotten into those too much. I have them, and I maybe read with them once, and they kind of sit there. So
I don't know if they're out of print, but I think that they are collectors. Are they out of print? The archetype cards?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Hay House cards is what they're from. Yeah, I'm not a DV fan, and somehow all of these Doreen Virtue decks keep landing to me, and so they kind of get sent other places as fast as they come in. It's almost like that one deck that just sat there waiting for the right place to go. They are not for me, and I cannot understate that. So if someone else likes the deck, be my guest.
Now, Radley Valentine was also part of her decks, and he actually re-released a lot of her decks under his name, and I have several of those, and I love them. There's a lot of Angel decks. I have 2 Angel Tarot decks, which are awesome by him, and I read like this video, or not read, but watched this video, and it was basically saying that most of that inspiration of the cards that are Doreen Virtue actually came from Radley Valentine. So that helped me a little bit, but I don't
have, what is the one with, there's like a mediumship deck or something, or messages from the other side or something. I think I have a deck.
I feel like you're like looking through my shelf right now because I have that one.
Is that Radley Valentine?
No, I believe that is it John Holland or James? I get them mixed up. James Van Prague? I can't remember.
It wasn't Van Prague. It was a Doreen Virtue kind of partnership.
Oh, was it? Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different one then. I bet I am. Yeah.
Lucy Cavendish decks look the same. I don't know if I can place her decks off the top of my head. So, I have this weird connection with Doreen Virtue decks, not her as a person. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was Ange, right?
Where you started. Yeah.
I actually have a Lucy Cavendish deck that I really, really love, but I don't think this is it. I can't find half my stuff. But anyway, yeah, there's one that I really, really love, and then I bought another one, and they are kind of alike. And yeah, she's into kind of the cartoonish fairy stuff, but the one I got was really cool.
Yeah. I have a bunch of incomplete Doreen Virtue decks. I sent some of them to Ange because she actually has a use for them. And,
I saw that.
So I'm like, it's just weird how they keep popping up. Talking to Heaven deck, was James Van Prague and Doreen Virtue. I think they just stick her name on things because she was their biggest name.
Right.
I really do.
Until she completely changed.
Until she lost her shit on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
When I was first coming into tarot, I was like, well, what's wrong with Doreen Virtue? And then I watched a video of her, and I'm like, oh, man. I used to be like that? What the heck? But, yeah.
And then there was this whole rash of other people, like, I don't mind, if you have found, if you're born again, that's, I can totally respect that, but then to tell other people that they're full of shit, I just kind of sat back and watched the drama with the popcorn. That's what I was doing.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was kind of knee deep in it, but what I love about this community especially is the fact that everyone's accepted, everyone's supported. There's a no judgment, zone.
Yeah.
There's judgment-free zone all around it. So this is a safe space, and I love that. I love that.
I have found
you don't say that
people
we're right and everybody else is wrong, because
No.
that's everybody around me here. If you
Yeah,
don't
people
believe
can
that
give their
Jesus is the Son of God,
opinions. Yeah, people can give their opinions, and I think people in TarotTube are really introspective, and they welcome a difference of opinion, because it's almost like, well, I'm willing to entertain that might make sense to me, or
have more of an open mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have found everyone to be really accepting, and people who they don't squash ideas, but people who are negative to other people, I find that that's taken care of right away. Like, that's just not what we do here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, well, it has been an hour, and
Went by fast.
Your house is not ablaze, and I am still on the ground.
You're not playing Dorothy.
Well. So I really hope we have to get together with the little Scorpio group and do some Scorpio readings.
I would love that.
Let's make this happen.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. I'm so glad we finally got to talk a little more. And
me too.
Thank you to everyone who was in the chat. And if you are watching from the future, then
thank you too.
Thanks for watching. And make sure you check out Scott's channel. He has some great reversal videos. And check out my channel too.
Yes.
But send some people my way who you think might want to chit chat. And look out for some Scorpio Tell It Like It Is readings.
Awesome.
From the Scorpio group here on TarotTube. And thanks for being with us. Bye, guys.
Bye.